Life is a marathon. Not only do you have to run, but you have to come in first. And they keep running and running and running, and they can't stop for a minute to actually live their lives, to smell the roses, as we say. Because if they stop for a moment, they're going to lose the race to the top. Someone else will catch them. Someone else will go ahead. If along the way they have to step on those who stand in their way or neglect those who need them most, what can they do? Life is a marathon. How many live lives this way? We run and we run and we barely take the time to see those who are near and dear to us. And we delude ourselves into believing that we're doing it all for their sake. The reason I work so hard is for my children, so that they can have. But in the process, it is they who are being sacrificed. And then we look back and we realize that we may have won the race, but in the process we've lost or neglected our families, our friends, our very lives. You may have heard this story before. Several years ago, there was a very wealthy Jew who passed away. We're talking about a major entrepreneur. The man reportedly left behind an estate worth over $1 billion. He also happened to be a very religious man and a very charitable man. And the story goes that this man left 2 wills with instructions that one of the wills should be opened immediately upon passing. The second will should be opened on Shloshim, on the 30th day after passing. And so when this individual passed away, his family opened the first will. And amongst the instructions in the first will was a very strange request. He asked that he be buried wearing a certain special pair of socks that he had owned, that he put away. He put it in a dresser in the house, he put it in a very specific place, and he asked that when he passed away, he wanted to be buried wearing those socks. Strange request. People have stranger requests. Upon reading this, his children immediately went to his room, went to the dresser. Sure enough, the socks were there. They took the socks, they brought it to the Chevra Kadisha, to the Jewish Burial Society, and they said that our father left instructions that he be buried wearing this pair of socks. Now, as much as the Chevra Kadisha didn't want to upset the family, they respectfully explained that it was not in keeping with Jewish tradition. In Jewish law, a person is not buried wearing socks. And the children pleaded and said, look, our father was a very pious and learned man, and if our father asked that this is what he wanted, then we have to respect that. And the Jewish Burial Society said, we go by Jewish law here. We can't make exceptions. If you want, we can call rabbinic authorities to find out indeed if there's any leniency here. And they said, please do, because it's very important to us to follow through the requests of our father. And they called every Rav they can. They called any authority in Israel and Jerusalem, and they all said the same answer. There's no exception. Can't be done. So the Chevra Kadisha gets back with the family, and they said, look, it's possible that your father simply did not know of this law. Not everyone studies the laws of burial. And now especially that your father is in Olam HaEmes, he's in the heavenly world, and he knows now of all the laws, certainly he would want you to follow what Jewish tradition is, because your father was an observant Jew. And reluctantly, the children have to give in, and they say, you're right. If that's what Jewish law says and there is no leniency here, then you'll just have to go ahead and do it according to Jewish tradition. 30 days go by. The second will is opened. It read something like this. My dear children, by now you would have buried me without my socks. I just wanted you to truly understand that a man can have $1 billion, but in the end, he can't even take along a pair of socks. So use your time and your money wisely. Be engaged with your families. Be engaged with your communities. And be charitable. There is a way to win without having to see life as a marathon.